So this is deja vu for me because I used to work here as a bar back. So I was here every night until like 2 a.m. It's so crazy, just like thinking back. What's up, you guys? I'm your host, Monique Coman, and welcome back to season 2 of Fleeky Friday, where I continuously take you to the coolest places in Las Vegas. And right now, I'm standing in front of Mott 32. I'm so excited to show you the inside. The design is incredible, the food is to die for, and I may or may not have been part of the opening team back in 2018. Let's go find out more. All right, guys, we are with Valentino Crespo, Assistant General Manager of Mott 32. Thank you so much for having us today.
Oh, thank you for coming. I appreciate you.
Tell me about the story of Mott 32. I know it's based off a market on Mott Street in New York and comes from Hong Kong, so that's so cool to me.
From what I've learned is the influences. I think name speaks a lot when you name something. So we named it Mott 32 after a street in New York, 32 Mott Street, which was the location of the first Chinese establishment in the United States. 1891 was the exact date when it was made. It's still owned by the same family. I think it's about 5 generations deep. They came here, the first year we were open with the family, we kind of paid an homage to them for being the first Chinese Americans to make the first establishment here in the United States. So that's where the name come from. And you'll see there's also decor throughout the restaurant. There's a mural on the wall. Anna Wong is her name. She's the first Chinese American actress doing silent films in the 1920s and then color films later on.
I actually went to New York when I was working here, and I remember going to Mott Street and just thinking it's so crazy how everything comes together. Tell me first about Mott 32. What makes this place so special?
The atmosphere, the beautiful decor. It's mostly about the service and the experience that people have. We want people to feel how they feel like they're at home, they're welcomed. Want them to come back and back. Just retain them as a forever guest. And so far we've done that. From what I've seen, whenever a guest stays here for a long period of time, they dine here multiple times throughout that experience. And that kind of shows with the accolades that we were awarded, you could say.
And tell me a little bit about those accolades.
Well, Forbes, we got the 4-star. Forbes is...
well-deserved.
Well-deserved, yes. Forbes is only given to a number of restaurants on the Strip, and there's about 10 or so that have a 4-star. We actually have it every year since we opened up.
Wow.
So going on 3 years now.
5-star in my heart, though, because this place is incredible. And tell me about the design. So who was behind the design? And like you said, when you come here, you have different dining experiences. So I feel like just from seeing the burlesque room and the main dining area, the bar, it's so unique in every different nook and cranny.
Yes, well, it was actually a concept that was designed by Maxwell Concept, which is the owner of the concept, and Joyce Wang, which is the designer for it. She kind of took the 1800s experience of what China had to offer. If you see our dining rooms in the back, private dining rooms, the table's kind of shaped like a roulette wheel to kind of give that Las Vegas feel. And even the table or the wallpaper behind you, from when they created it, they spent about $250,000 just on the wallpaper alone in a few sections of the restaurant, which the threading is 24 karat gold with the flowers and the birds that are kind of put into it, which we'll definitely show you a little bit later on.
And so that obviously represents the Peking duck?
Exactly, which all the staff members wear a pin. We have the duck everywhere on the napkins to the menus, kind of to showcase that experience.
I love that, that's beautiful. I love neon signs. Alan G, an executive chef, so amazing at what he does. What's it like working with him and seeing his talent firsthand?
I'll give you a story, which I haven't seen with most chefs that I worked on the Strip. A guest didn't like a certain item from the table. He went out to the table personally to talk to them, to find out what's going on, things that he could fix and change, to not just make the restaurant better as a whole, but for that guest's experience to be elevated as well. We want to make sure everybody walks out of here happy, and enjoyed every part of the meal at every point. You could say from the cocktails all the way to dessert. Chef takes pride in every single thing.
My name is Alan. I was born in Shanghai. When I was 20 years old, I came to the States for the college. When I was little, I loved cook already because my grandpa, he traveled around the world, so he bring a lot of different country style food. So when I love that, so I tried to do by myself when I was like in the elementary school.
So what are some specialties in your culture and what's it like being able to curate them here?
Just like I said, I'm from Shanghai. We have famous, in Shanghai means soup dumpling. We also have that here, but I created another hot and sour soup dumpling for the guests to have more choice. Yeah.
How do you make a dim sum?
Just like I said, for the soup dumpling, most important is you have to keep the soup inside the dumpling without the leaking, and you have to put the right amount of flavor and the soup inside there.
When we first opened up, I remember they were talking about sourcing 50 different farms at first. So we tasted 50 different farms within the United States and Canada, trying to make it as close as possible to us so we could have the freshest ingredients as possible. Sustainability is definitely something important with Maxwell Concepts. We settled on Pennsylvania. There's a farm from there that we get all the duck from, which not only do they feed it a specific amount of grains per day, but the age of the duck is 42 days old when they take it, when we actually get it, and then we cook it for about 24 hours.
Of course, we clean the duck first, then we dry the duck for 4 days in the air dry machine. After that, we roast it in a traditional Peking duck oven.
And you have to pre-order the duck, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Limited availability. The ovens only allow for a certain amount, 35 per day. So definitely calling in advance is something people should do.
And that's how you know it's really special too. And I remember it comes with all of the little side dishes and the sauce. It's so incredible.
Traditional recipe from Beijing with a little bit of a high-end twist, you could say.
So Mott 32 has influence from Beijing. It's Cantonese and Szechuan as well, right?
Yes, mainly Cantonese, but with influences from Szechuan and from Beijing. That's where we get the duck, barbecue pork, and we have a few Szechuan dishes, which I call a few of them my hangover remedy, because when you're not feeling good the day after you drink, it definitely helps you sweat some of that stuff out.
I feel like my hangover remedy is the Iberico pork. Oh my God.
Iberico, I mean, it's the best pork from Spain, only fed acorns. And from there, we get the shoulder cut. We cook it, we finish it with a Yellow Mountain honey, which is just incredible.
It's the softest thing you've ever tried. It's like, it melts in your mouth. It's so good.
And that's one of those limited availability items as well.
But you still have it?
Oh yeah, we still
Okay. Thank God, because I was gonna say that's my favorite.
Today, I try and make our signature black cup, smoked black cup.
And it smells amazing, by the way. Everything smells so good.
For this one, take about like 10 minutes. Usually, like slice the fish and marinate it in a little bit touch of egg.
So this is, if you go to China or Shanghai, this is a traditional dish?
Yes.
Okay. And I love that everyone can see you. It's a very open concept. Do people wave?
Sometimes, yeah. Some customer take a photo, video, or thing. Yeah. We leave a little bit oil inside, so we have the smoked cut sauce. That sauce for the smoked cut. It's like Chinese spicy and some soy sauce, sugar, yeah.
Is that ginger? What is that?
Yeah, fried ginger, cilantro, and bell pepper.
We actually went to a whole bunch of stores in Hong Kong and Las Vegas to find older 18th century, 19th century Chinese coins and made a table out of those coins.
Wow. So where does that burlesque theme come from?
You know, I haven't been personally asked to ask Joyce Wang, but I know a story that we had when we first opened up, which was kind of fun.
One of the first days we were actually open, we took out all the tables, all the chairs. We put a stage right here in the center, and we had a burlesque dancer using the same feathers in the chandelier to kind of cover herself as she was dancing.
I love that.
And that's when it got deemed officially the Boom Boom Room, right after that.
Boom Boom Room, I remember that. Oh my gosh.
It was actually deemed the Boom Boom Room after that day because above there's a chandelier with these beautiful feathers that are white, and the burlesque dancer was dancing with similar flowers, color and all. It was a pretty good show.
So you would say it's an experience to dine here?
Yes, it definitely is. We cater to everything. Whatever the guest needs, we'll make it happen. Everything from a liquor cart with your own kind of personal bartender, which the server can do, to carving the duck table side, you could say.
But what are some specialties here on the menu? Of course, the Peking duck, the pork, but if someone who has never been here before, what should they absolutely try?
Besides the ever so famous pre-ordered items, the Peking duck and the barbecue pork, personal items, definitely try some of the dim sums, everything from the xiaolongbao, which is the soup dumplings. We have 2 different versions, from a traditional version to a hot and sour soup version. What's elevated about this, we use Iberico pork here as well. So the ingredients definitely makes the flavor that much better. All the way to even the side dishes like the cabbage, which is wok fried with the XO sauce, which we make our XO sauce specialty here. It's a fermented sauce from dried scallops, prawns, chilies, and garlics. Wok fried with that together, it gives you that kind of umami flavor. One of my favorite beef dishes is the short rib, triple cooked, fried, braised, and then it's baked. It's garnished with the bone only because the bone fell off at one point because it's so tender.
Yeah.
And it's garnished on the plate, sliced, and it's enough to feed a nice group of people.
And isn't there a specific way you have to eat the dumplings? I remember that.
Yes, what's good is we have the bowl here as representation. Using your bowl is probably, and your spoon, the best way because there is soup filled inside of it. I usually tell people the best way to do it is either you could let it cool off, which I'm way too impatient for that.
Same.
So I nibble some of the dough from the outside, I drink some of the soup, and then I enjoy the rest. Somewhere in between nibbling and drinking is when I add the sauce, which is a dark vinegar with shredded ginger.
Funny story, I actually worked here and we opened up Mott 32 together.
Yes, we did, yep.
So tell me a little bit about your journey, because when I was here, I was a bar back. Crazy story, my dad wanted me to be in bartending and somehow got into being a bar back. But I met you, so just tell me about your whole journey.
Well, before I came to Mott 32, it was kind of a journey myself. I went from French dining, Italian dining to American continental, and I wanted to change it up. I wanted to be more of a well-rounded individual, having service qualities in all aspects. So now that I mastered everything else, I wanted to do Chinese or at least Asian cuisine so I could learn their kind of their way of doing things, because everybody has a different way. Europe has a way of dining, American has a way of dining, which I used to teach classes on that. That's why they kind of brought me along to help train the staff. So it was a fun experience, learning a lot, like learning little stuff like when somebody taps the table, doesn't mean to stop pouring me whatever you're pouring. It means I'm bowing for you or I am thanking you for whatever you're doing, which is a long story back in the early, 2,000, 3,000 years ago. The king wanted to live, or the emperor wanted to live as a commoner for a little bit, but he had to have bodyguards. So his bodyguards actually wanted to still show him respect by bowing, but they couldn't, so they would tap the table of a sign of respect. So it kind of went passed down in tradition.
Did that happen to you here?
Yeah, it was kind of embarrassing. Guy stopped pouring and the guest was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, you told me to stop." He's like, no, I actually just thanking you. So it was kind of a weird start, but I learned the ways afterwards.
That's really cool. Are there any other things like that?
What's funny is when you drop the bill on a table, it's customary, whoever orders the food is usually the host.
Okay.
I usually drop that check close to the host, giving everybody else an opportunity to at least ask to pay the bill. It's rude in some cases, depending on the business dinner or what kind of atmosphere it is, to not offer to pay the bill. If you don't offer to pay the bill, you seem rude, so you'll see kind of a fight, but ultimately the host wins and always pays the bill.
Wow, that's really interesting. So you started as a server.
Yes, it is.
So how did you become the assistant general manager?
It's something where we had a talks, me, Nathan, and Ryan, which used to be the GM. Now he's kind of corporate, moved up the ranks. And Ryan, which he used to be the AGM, I took his position and went up to general manager. we were talking about it, and I was just telling him, hey, you know what? At this point, I got to do something different. I've done everything. I've been a bartender, I've been a busboy. I started as a dishwasher when I was a kid and just kept moving up the ranks.
When you think of yourself as a child, was this always your dream? Or?
Yes. Yes, only because my father was always in the industry.
Okay.
He was owning his own restaurants, became a butler later on, which I was a butler too, learning the trades of being a butler, which is totally something different than what you see here. Being with somebody 24/7 for however long they stay is definitely an interesting experience.
Yeah, that's amazing.
A lot of crazy stories, you could say.
And for the grand finale, wow. Is that ginger too? Whoa. That's crazy.
That's a jasmine flower.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it gives it the smell.
Yes. Okay.
And then voila.
Then, when we
Perfect.
presentation to the customer, on the table, you just do like that.
Wow. Well, you're incredible. Thank you so much for making this. I'm excited to try it. Is there, what's the best way to eat it? Chopsticks?
Yeah,
fork?
let me bring you a chopstick.
I'm all about presentation too, so that made me very happy.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. You gotta eat one with me.
Sure.
Perfect. Wow. It's so tender.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Oh my God. That sauce you said is sweet chili. Wow. Well, thank you, chef. You're incredible. It's been a pleasure. I cannot wait to eat here. It's hard to
Sure.
grab one more bite.
With some rice, best match.
That's the way to do it? Wow. And he's such a genuine human. Just talking to him, it just feels like family. He just cares about the food, about people.
It is. It's a pleasure working with somebody that takes pride in his work.
And then cocktails. So that was, again, I was behind the bar. It's still so crazy to think about. But some of the cocktails were incredible, and making them with egg whites and the garnishes, it's truly mixology at its finest.
It is. It's one of the, I would say, very unique ingredients. One of my favorites is Secrets of Xi'an. It's made with not just Johnny Walker Black, but they use a baijiu, which we use Hong Kong baijiu. And in this baijiu, it's made out of sorghum. So it has a very unique flavor. It's almost like you could say a grappa mixed with anise with a little bit of nuts. So it has a very strong flavor, but it's balanced out. And that's what's great about the entire cocktail list. All the cocktails are balanced. Starting off with something more lighter on the cocktail menu, more aperitif style, something to start off the night, all the way to something you could enjoy with dessert on the cocktail list. Even a duck fat old fashioned, where we take the duck fat after cooking it and we make an old fashioned out of it. Kind of let the duck fat sit in the whiskey or rye whiskey, depending on which time of the year, because they kind of change it out seasonally to go along with the season and the ingredients. So we'll make that, let it sit for about an hour, strain that out, and we make a beautiful old fashioned out of it called the Peking duck old fashioned.
I don't remember that. Is that new?
It's one of the newer items, yeah.
That's cool. So really there's something for everyone.
Yes, there is.
And then of course the wine selection.
Oh,
my
the
gosh.
wine selection is huge. We actually won an accolade for that too. Wine Spectator. Wine Spectator gives out awards to restaurants that could actually make their wine list that could contribute to not just the cuisine, but that's approachable to every guest, not just the price point, but the variety that there are. So we have everything from sweet wine that'll go along with a lot of our Szechuan dishes, to Pinot Noirs, extensive from French to American Pinot Noirs that'll go very well with the Peking duck specifically.
The only way to get up there is actually through a ladder. If you'd like to come this way, I'll show you.
I feel like I would fall, especially in heels.
I'm glad nobody has yet, but yeah, they usually have to climb all the way up here just to get the wine. It's kind of a scary thing sometimes, but it's always fun and it's a different perspective. Do you want to come up?
Should I try?
If
with
you
the
want
heels?
to.
Oh God, here we go.
My pregnant sommelier used to do this.
Wow. With heels, you guys. What? Crazy. All right, Logan, your turn.
But you can see it's actually a really cool view from up here too.
Wow.
Yeah, so white wine usually takes a little bit more time to deliver, but I guess it showcases what we have here and it gives the room a different feel.
So this is deja vu for me because I used to work here as a bar back. So I was here every night until like 2 a.m. It's so crazy, just like thinking back.
So this is where we carry all the champagnes on this side and the sake and more champagne on this side. So,
I remember this. What's your favorite sake? I love sake.
well, if I could afford it, it'll be the Super 7. It's about $3,000 a bottle.
Well, when you work here, it's a little different, right?
Oh, it is. It is. It's nice getting a little employee discount every once in a while.
I really am having so much deja vu. Oh my gosh.
Most definitely. Really cool rooms. I like the way they kept that 40, 42 degrees at the proper temperature for champagne and for sake to be served.
Yeah.
We don't do any warm sake, but there is an option. We bought these vats, these vases where you can pour hot water into it, and over like 10 minutes, it'll heat up the sake. So if somebody does want it hot, we can make it happen. We prefer it to be cold. It goes better with our dishes, but we can do it if they like.
I don't know what I like better, cold or hot sake, but we'll both.
I think usually for me, it's depends on the weather.
Yeah, all right, that makes sense, especially for Vegas. I will say wearing heels on this is a little more difficult than my Skechers barback shoes. That was what I was wearing back here. And then you have a sommelier here who can pair everything.
Always on staff. And our staff is well trained as well and well versed. Everything from by the glass to by the bottle, they can help out. This is where we carry all the red wines at least, keep everything about 55 degrees.
Oh, it's cold
in this room.
in here. It's nice.
Nice temperature for reds. Everything from our Spanish wines on this side. Then we have our Pinots, both French and American. Then we go into our Bordeaux's, big Bordeaux's. So up top, you're gonna find the most expensive wines. We keep those high, everywhere from $20,000 to $30,000. Domaine de Romani-Conti, different vintages, which could definitely more than my cars, basically, all put together.
How do you get up there?
We have a ladder rack over here, actually.
Oh, this place just keeps continuing.
Mm-hmm. And then we have to climb these. It's always fun when you're doing inventory. You have to make sure you count everything.
How do you get it from there to there? The ladder, does it connect?
Like literally.
Oh my God, wow.
Just move it. It's pretty light though.
I'm afraid of heights, so I would be afraid of this.
You don't want to climb it? Are you sure? Go grab a
Can you imagine?
$30,000
Should I try?
bottle if
For
you
me, you
want.
know, with the heels.
Yeah. I don't know if those are climbing shoes.
Wow. With heels, you guys. What?
But yeah, it goes back. We have more American wines. This is all the big cabs. And continues on this wall. That's probably our biggest selection, our American cabs and French cabs as well.
And I remember learning too, there's so much about wine pouring. You have to make sure you show the label. When you pour it, you like turn it. It's the whole thing.
Exactly, which is also part of Forbes Standard why we won the award, because you have to hit everything from the wine service, which when you show the wine, you have to tell them the label, everything from the date, the grape varietal, depending on where it's from, presenting it face forward to the guest, and as you're pouring it, you also have to face the bottle towards the guest as you're pouring it as well.
And then isn't it that you have to pour, the person who tastes it gets the last pour, right?
Exactly, they do the initial tasting, and then from there, ladies are first, all the gentlemen, and the host is last, but it also depends on the culture too as well. In Chinese culture, it's going to be the host will definitely be last, but also the guest of honor will be first, no matter if it's a man or a woman.
Oh, okay. So is that something that when you approach the table, you ask if there's a guest of honor and then go from there?
Yes, depending on where they're from, I definitely ask, who would you like me to pour next?
Got it. And so, oh my gosh, it's Nate. So now you have that experience too, because you started serving and now that you're the AGM, so I feel like it's perfect when people start really from the ground up.
Exactly, and being basically training in Forbes, knowing the steps and standards that Forbes required, I could definitely pass this knowledge along to the staff to maintain that level of service.
Absolutely. And last question, what is your favorite part about working here?
My favorite part about working here is actually the people. I love working with the people. It makes my job a lot easier, especially looking at it now from a different perspective, from a server, maintaining my own section and just having more of a connection with just one bartender, one back of the house staff. I have a connection with every single person, and now that I see these personalities and who they are, I'm falling in love with the restaurant all over again.
Welcome, how are we doing tonight?
I'm doing.
Excellent, my name is Valentino, I'm the Assistant General Manager. Just want to make sure you're enjoying yourself this evening. Excellent, is it your first time?
Yeah, it's our first time.
You got one of the best seats in the house, I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Really?
Oh yeah, everybody always fights to get these two or the other two on the other side. If you ever need a reservation in the future, just give me a text or a call. I'll be more than happy to help you out. It makes it easier, you know what I mean? Thank you so much. I'll come right back with that card for you, okay? All right, how many covers do we have tonight?
We have a total of 336.
Wow, what was your section?
What was my section?
Which section was yours?
I was always in the back with the VIPs.
This was my favorite right in here though. These can open up, slide open, so we can make it a large room to fit about 40 so people, or we can make it a little more personal for about 10 to 12.
I love that. I just wanted to, I would take all the photos in here. This is so cute.
That's the opium den. That's why we call it the opium room. And the chandelier is actually a roulette wheel, giving it that Las Vegas touch.
At first, I gotta say, I thought this was a poker table without all of the settings on it.
Well, what's cool about this bigger table, it's easier to share your meal with the Lazy Susan.
And that's big in the Chinese culture, right?
It's huge. Huge in the Chinese culture because everything's made to be shared. It's supposed to be a communal experience.
Yeah.
It's not just one dish for one person. It's putting a variety of dishes in the middle of the table, everything from meats to seafoods, noodles and rice and vegetables, and the Peking duck, and everybody share together.
Look at that. Look at that. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. You're phenomenal. So grateful to be here with you.
Pleasure.